I was like very depressed.
You genuine friends with all the Nelk boys?
Obviously, you have a lot in common with me. I think we both had some legal issues with the support jar.
Is the Nelk NFT scam worse than CryptoZoo?
Just me being involved in Metacard and me promoting it and tying my name to it and saying a bunch of like that didn't happen.
I'll never forget summer 2019. That's when I first started watching the Nelk boys. They had these like sick edited videos, and they were bumping some Arizona Zervis in the background of them, and they were like my age, and I was like still in college, and it was great. I enjoyed watching their content. I didn't care too much for the prank videos. A couple years later, then they get into podcasting and really taking off, and then got the Happy Dad and merch and all that, and I used to buy some of their tank tops and stuff. Lately, I just feel like there's been a lot of controversy with them, and maybe it's been ongoing for a while, and it's just all coming out now. That seems to be a common trend, is things just come out and it's like all at once. You got Steve, like I showed in the clips, talking about the Metacard scam thing, and ongoing class action lawsuit going on with that. Me personally, I bought a Metacard back in like 2022. Obviously the worst financial decision I ever made. Fortunately, it was only a couple grand, but today's day and age, a couple grand goes a long way. And I've made some plays and other things that have made up for it, but still, it's sad. You feel like an idiot, and you see it all over the comments. Oh, you bought one of these, you idiot. People that truly believed in them and believed in the direction they were going and wanted to invest in them. They were hopeful, and it seemed like that it could have been something great, and turned into nothing. And they don't even talk about it anymore. And all they got is this class action lawsuit now. Then you got the timeline. You got Bob Menery and all that drama. His fallout, compensation, broken promises. Creative differences, and then you got like I showed Jesse as well. He left pretty early. I mean, they were together for a while, but he left earlier than most. And I can only speculate, but I feel like he knew the maybe shady people were coming in. He didn't like the direction it was going. Could also be, like he said, he just felt depressed and didn't like the party life anymore and stuff like that. Could be a bunch of, or all those things combined. We can only speculate at the end of the day. So he left, and, then you have, stuff going on with Steiny now, and this guy interviewing him, or the podcast. And I don't even want to mention that because I just don't want to get into it. But, you can look at that content if you want. And then, you got Kyle from Nelk. He's kind of like the only guy, it seems like, that's really part of Nelk anymore. I don't know. I don't really know anyone else. He's on a recent podcast. I love Graham, Iced Coffee Hour. It's a good podcast. I feel like he's trying to maybe save face with all this controversy. And, I could tell watching the whole video, it seemed like they were not asking specific questions, and maybe that's because they were told they couldn't. Again, I can only speculate. And at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe all this drama is just, it's all just one big show, and they're all in collusion together with it. Then, you had Full Send or Nelk making, supplements, and, maybe they were collaborating with Brad and using his partners to make the supplements, because I know Brad's got his supplements and stuff too. And, I can only, again, speculate. But, it seems like all these people, Steve, Brad, amongst others, Jesse and stuff, and Bob, and, just, kind of distancing themselves from Nelk and Kyle and everyone. Just, maybe they just know things we don't know, and they know who's involved and stuff like that, and they didn't want to be a part of it anymore. It would make sense, and again, you go through comments of all these videos of all the different things people are thinking could be the issue, or what's going on. Um, and I just wanted to give my thoughts and my take. Um, I think people should be careful at the same time what they claim, if they make claims, or what they say, because they know people with the podcast now. They know very high up people, important people, and it's sad and crazy to think. And you can call me a tinfoil hatter that we live in a world now where, um, like, you say the wrong thing, and you could go missing. Things like that can happen. Um, a lot of people are just not worried about it, but that's a real fact. I mean, like, those things kind of happen. People speak out, they, go missing, things like that happen. So you got to be careful what you say. I mean, you really do. Um, but and overall, it's just sad. I pray they really think about, OG fans, long time fans, maybe get back to their roots a little bit. I mean, we're all grown adults now. We don't need to be making prank videos, but, go back to just, having fun doing those kind of things, or talk about business more, things like that. Teach important things. And that's why I still, even though I don't really enjoy enjoy them and the direction they've gone, Nelk and stuff, I still listen to the Full Send podcast if they get a good person on there, because you can still get meaningful advice and you can learn things. They get a lot of good people on their podcast. So I still listen to that. Maybe do more podcasting. I don't know what it could be, but I just and they're obviously successful, with Happy Dad and stuff, and they've had a lot of success. Maybe fame and greed got to them, like it does with the Logan Pauls and all the other big time social media people. It's just unfortunate that there's all this controversy. And again, you don't know who's involved, and everyone just speculating and giving their own thoughts. And yeah, I just hope I hope they figure it out. I hope they actually care to figure it out. You get money and stuff, and then you kind of just don't care, and you kind of just try to throw things under the rug, and you don't listen to input, or maybe you do care, but other people are pulling the strings behind the scenes, and you can't do anything about it because you're being controlled and kind of pulled into a corner. So again, a lot of speculation. I hope they figure it out, but I just want to give my thoughts on everything. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts. And we'll see you in the next one.